Waiver Wired. Why are we here? Why are we even here? What is the point? What are we doing? Why? It should be Wavered. Why? Why wavered? Why wire? Why waiver wired? There's nobody available that I want. That's the crazy thing. What happened? Oh, Devon A-Chain went nuclear on schedule, right? You already picked him up. Everyone already picked him up. In fact, he was already rostered in 50% of leagues anyway, right? So even super casual leagues knew to grab Devon A-Chain, or people drafted him and held on to him because, of course, you want to hold on to a super explosive running back operating in a stretch zone running scheme by a disciple of Shanahan. So congratulations on your Devon A-Chain. If he's available, 100%. 100%. Matt Breida is still available because it was like, oh, is it going to be Breida? Is it going to be Brightwell? What's it going to be? Breida, 80% snap share. So it's going to be Breida again this week. Barkley says he wants to play. It's a high ankle sprain. He's not going to play. It's not high ankle sprain. It's high ankle fucked. Saquon Barkley's not going to be himself until week 10. Okay, that's breaking news. We should break that news. I think that's officially breaking. We can break that news. Yeah, Barkley's going to be a mess still week 10. Yeah, that's the high ankle sprain. So I'm thinking he's going to be back. My guess is he'll be back week 6. So now we have Matt Breida for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks of Matt Breida, what is that worth to you? What is 2 weeks of Matt Breida on the worst team in the NFL? A running back on the worst team with one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. Man, Evan Neal. It's like, oh, Evan Neal's going to take a step forward this year. Maybe. Maybe not. Right now they are at home this week against Seattle. So that's good. That's the best situation that a Giants running back would find themselves in this year. It's too bad Barkley's not going to be there for that game, right? And then week 5, they're at the Dolphins. Wow. So maybe the offensive line, the offensive coordinator can learn some lessons about how to run the ball when they go at Miami. There's going to be a lot of negative game script there. They're going to be getting blown out at Miami week 5, so Matt Breida is not going to be much use. But for this week, though, as a flex option, those that might need a running back, I would dabble. I would put a little teeny tiny bit, 5% of your budget maybe on Matt Breida. This is 2 weeks. This is not a league-winning situation. This is not a good use of your funds. But if you need help, 5% Matt Breida, fine. Now we're into stash. See, that's it. We've exhausted anyone that can help us this week from the waiver wire. That's the list. This is what I'm talking about. That's embarrassing. But there's many others that I want to stash, though. There's a bunch of stash candidates, a ton of stash candidates at running back who could be the next Jerome Ford. The next Jerome Ford is out there. And we're going to lay them out after this. Let's take a moment to talk about Underdog Fantasy. Now, many of you have already signed up. Thousands have signed up from Player Profiler already over the years. Underdog has supported us since 2020. Much of what you see on Player Profiler is because of Underdog, because of their support. Get the Underdog app, plug in that promo code UNDERWORLD. I used to play Underdog just for the best ball drafts. I mean, the best ball drafts are amazing. These draft rooms fill so quickly, and you can win life-changing money. You want to take advantage of all the sleepers we talk about on this show? Well, what better place than in an Underdog draft room to do that? And I recommend taking your Underdog play to the next level by diving into their NFL pick'ems. It's important to correlate those NFL pick'ems. You can pick both the quarterbacks and the wide receivers to exceed expectations. Correlate them, and you can 5x your payout. Bada bing, bada boom. Underdog Fantasy, the promo code is UNDERWORLD. For an instant deposit match up to $100. Underdog is the truest friend of the underworld. That's right. 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 Stash time. Stash time. And I'm going to give you a stash that no one's talking about. Here's a stash that no one's talking about. for your fantasy team, for your bench, Latavius Murray. The timeless Latavius Murray. We're talking about on the Top 10 Takeaways show. You can go to our YouTube channel. Just look for the live tab. You can see the Top 10 Takeaways show yesterday. We identified multiple Frank Gores, right? There's explosive Frank Gore, Raheem Mostert. There's the Frank Gore of wide receivers, Keenan Allen, right? And there's also the big, hulking, pseudo all-purpose running back in his early 30s who just doesn't stop and is going to play forever, and teams love to bring in for leadership and the fact that he understands the playbook and he is always in the right place. Remember, this player, this running back, was widely viewed as an upright runner who had bad vision and was not going to be in the league very long because he was taking huge hits. He had lower body injuries, but he did give you these breakaway runs now and then for the Raiders. Right? This was not the type of player that plays into his 30s. Like, everything you knew about Latavius Murray in his early 20s told you he would be out of the league by age 28. And then he wasn't. And then he's just hanging around. But what does he have? What does he and Raheem Mostert have in common? They started off with 90th percentile speed. So they could lose fast twitch muscle fiber into their 30s and still be fast enough for the league. Right? That's what Le'Veon Bell did not have. And I'm also stashing Pierre Strong still. I said stash Pierre Strong last week. They did bring in Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was the 1B, the distant, 2B, really. The distant 2B to the 1A, the true 1A, the bell cow in Cleveland, Jerome Ford. And the only reason Pierre Strong was getting touches because it was a blowout in the second half. Hunt rotating in, but he's clearly not vintage Kareem Hunt. There's no juice left. Pierre Strong has a lot more juice than Kareem Hunt. So for that reason, continue to stash Pierre Strong. If I'm picking a stash, I'm going to stash Hunt second to Pierre Strong. And I'm not even going to bother with Hunt at all. But Latavius Murray, he started as a much faster running back than Kareem Hunt. So it makes sense that now he's in his 30s. He's taking great care of his body. He's just hammering that squat rack. And lo and behold, here he is. And Damian Harris came into the league with very little speed. And Damian Harris has been leaking athleticism for the last couple of years. And it's looking like Murray is the true RB2 in Buffalo. He technically out-touched Damian Harris last week because he's more involved in the passing game. He's a better receiver than Damian Harris. I care about the best offenses. I want great running games. I want offenses that are going to score a lot of points. Right? But you look at San Francisco, okay, yeah, Elijah Mitchell, but most people have him stashed already. So what does that do? Right? There's not that many great offenses, right? Everyone has A-Chain and they have Mostert. There just aren't a lot of choices, right? Gainwell is rostered as well as Swift. So if you go down through a bunch of rosters around the league where there's a lot of points being scored, Joshua Kelly's on there's not a lot of options, right? Zach Charbonnet's rostered. Go down the board of all the offenses around the league that are scoring a lot of points where there's touchdown upside. Buffalo's the one place where you could find a guy with an all-purpose skill set with the requisite size and just enough speed on the right offense where if James Cook misses games, Latavius Murray is going to be someone you are starting. He is going to have like a 40% rostered percentage in DFS that first week that he's the starter. Devin Singletary as well. Now, Devin Singletary is not explosive. Okay. And, but he did get a bunch more touches this week than Latavius Murray did. He technically outrushed even Dameon Pierce. I'm trading for Dameon Pierce. I want Dameon Pierce. So let me just get this straight. I want Dameon Pierce. He's already rostered. Why do I want Dameon Pierce? Why do I want Devin Singletary stashed? Houston's offense is the real deal, and their offensive line is only going to get healthier. So however you feel about Devin Singletary's talent, I want the guy on that offense. Just like Rico Dowdle. Like Rico Dowdle's another guy I'm stashing because we know Dallas to be a quality running game. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott also, he's the big faller in our quarterback dynasty rankings on Player Profiler. Like, I have always viewed Dak Prescott as having the ceiling of that guy we saw in 2020 with a 28 fantasy points per game. And now we're in 2023 and it's over. Like it's not happening. Like that's not in his range of outcomes any longer. Top 5 quarterback in any given year is just not something Dak Prescott's going to deliver. He doesn't have the arm strength, doesn't have the mobility any longer, or the willingness to run any longer to deliver top 5 fantasy quarterbacks. So then now you have to move him down into this other area. So he's dropping a tier. But yet, Rico Dowdle is moving up a tier. Rico Dowdle is the 1-for-1 handcuff. No one else is getting touches. There's not a Patrick Taylor. There's not a Cordarrelle Patterson. There's nothing else there, right? Deuce Vaughn. Yeah, Deuce Vaughn's not getting any usage. Okay, Rico Dowdle is 210 pounds, giving that 4.5 speed. Like he has enough across the board. So to inject him into that offense and him to put up RB2 numbers, and it won't happen, it better not happen, Pollard misses games, but Dowdle is a must-stash. He's the best stash of all. Dowdle's the best stash, then Singletary, then Latavius Murray. I'm still stashing Chuba Hubbard because that's one of the rare cases where the RB2 is better than the RB1 on his team. He's better than Sanders. Okay. Sean Tucker is a stash because he's technically an all-purpose back, and he's got the clear number 2 job. Like he's kind of like he's a lesser Rico Dowdle, right? He's a lesser Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle 0.5. That is Sean Tucker. I'm not that interested in a guy like Tyjae Spears because the Titans' offense is atrocious. Right? I'd rather stash Travion Williams because I at least have some confidence that the Bengals' offense is going to turn itself around. Right? There's no turning around the Titans' offense. But Derrick Henry, another big faller. I don't know how this is what we do. To salvage the Waiver Wired show, we will talk about Dynasty. What? Right? Why not? So, big droppers in the Dynasty rankings this week. Talking to Dario, talking to Theo, talking to Evan, our wizard intern who helps us with so many things with the projections, 3-year projections. 3-year. Tyjae Spears, what good is it? Right? What good is he this year? Right? He's going to be on a team that can't score any points. And Derrick Henry's also on that team. So Derrick Henry has to, at age 28, has to necessarily come down. Derrick Henry also, is it just me? And this is not analytical at all. Warning. This is a game watching based take. Does Derrick Henry look bloated? Derrick Henry looks bloated and sluggish. To be 250 pounds, you have to have every single last fast twitch muscle fiber available to you. So when he starts to lose a little bit of that explosiveness, it's just jarring. It's so much more evident that he just can't quite move laterally the way he wants to, doesn't have the explosiveness that he did. It's just he looks, I could be wrong. right? I maybe there's, the miles per hour being tracked with the chips in the shoulder pads, and no, Derrick Henry, his top speed is faster than it was last year. Maybe. This is an eye test, warning eye test. Derrick Henry looks sluggish. Derrick Henry's dust. I'll just say it. Derrick Henry's dust. Even if he's dust, Tyjae Spears, not that interesting because the offense. And there's a running back there named Julius Chestnut who's going to get a lot of the between the tackles work anyway. Should something happen to Derrick Henry, not that it matters because that offense is so bad. The offensive line's awful. So you got the Titans and the Giants, right? There were some expectations. There were some reasonable expectations for these two teams this year. I had no expectations for the Titans. I thought they could finish last, and it looks like they very well could. And I had much higher expectations for the Giants. Though I will say, at no point was I touting Daniel Jones. I needed to see another year of Daniel Jones. Can we just see another year of Daniel Jones to make sure this is real? Is that too much to ask? Turns out for a lot of people it was too much to ask. They were all in on Daniel Jones. So everyone that was all in on Daniel Jones, that was a sucker move. I think you all knew it. At the wide receiver position, there's a clear and present potential stud receiver, an alpha on a super prolific offense. He's a rookie. He was at the Senior Bowl. He was good at the Senior Bowl. You know who I'm going to say, right? I mean, if we're talking about newly minted prolific offenses, if I like Devin Singletary, I think you know who I'm about to say, right? Let's all say it together. Everybody on the count of three, let's say this rookie wide receiver together. 3, 2, 1. Rashee Rice! Rashee Rice is the primary option after Travis Kelce. And this is underreported. He's only been rostered in like 30% of fantasy leagues so far. Now, I know that's most fantasy leagues we're in. I get it, everybody. I get it. But it's worth scouring your leagues to make sure Rashee Rice is rostered everywhere because he's the number one. He's the number one wide receiver. Now, he and Sky Moore are getting similar usage, but Rashee Rice is the rookie. So every week that goes by, Rashee Rice is going to be more likely to develop his skill set and improve because he's in year 2, right? So he's only had 3 games in his NFL career. Sky Moore has like 23, right? So every incremental game by percentage means a lot more to the development of Rashee Rice than it does Sky Moore. So for that reason, I'm now all in on Rashee Rice. I've seen enough. I also still like Sky Moore. See, the thing is, Patrick Mahomes, he can support 3 receivers. Kelce, Rice, Moore. But Rice, baby. Rice, baby. Rice, baby. Right? Y'all think this is like a big, big classic rock show, right? And the next thing you know, it's 90s, early 90s hip hop. Can you even call that hip hop? I don't think. Can you call Vanilla Ice hip hop? Can you? That as I say it, it sounds wrong. So I don't think you can say it. I think it's wrong. I just think it's wrong. I think I shouldn't say you can't say. You can say it, but you can say it wrongly. I think it's just pop music. I think he's just straight up pop music. Rice, baby. Rice. And then clearly Tank Dell. You want Tank Dell. Though he's 5'4", he's so tiny. And yet he's explosive. He was the best receiver at the Senior Bowl. Remember, there was a bunch of good receivers at the Senior Bowl. Some very solid receivers at the Senior Bowl. Puka Nacua, solid, very good. Right? Michael Wilson, very good. Quickest feet. Super impressive. Jayden Reed, amazing, right? But technically, technically, the guy that was the most productive, that was most targeted at the Senior Bowl was Tank Dell, right? It was Tank Dell and Jayden Reed. They were the stars. And then you've got the other guys, Rice, Mingo, I guess Mingo. It was reported to me, though I was there, that Mingo performed well. I didn't see it, right? But certainly Nakua in his one practice was good. Rice was solid. But it was really Tank Dell and Jayden Reed. Michael Wilson. I don't know. If I had to rank them, if I had to rank the Senior Bowl, I would say it was a tie at the top. Dell and Reed, because they were on different teams, right? You had the North and the South. So you have, or the East and the West. No, it's the North and the South. So you had a tie with Dell and Reed, and then Michael Wilson, and then Puka Nakua, and then Rashee Rice. Top 5 receivers from the Senior Bowl. Right there. Boom. Off the dome. But Tank Dell, why Tank Dell? Because CJ Stroud, that's why. It's not as much a Tank Dell take as a CJ Stroud take. He clearly needs a primary option. It's not Nico Collins. It could be Nico this week. I like Nico. I think Nico's a buy low. Because I still need to see more from Tank Dell. After 3 weeks, I need to see more. I'm just that guy that needs to see a little more than most people. So I need to see more, but I'm clearly bidding on Tank Dell. The problem is, we're talking about 5% of your FAAB budget, right? We have a hard cap of 5% on wide receivers because there's so many. Every week, there's a whole new crop, tons of guys. And then at running back, what we just saw, there's never any good ones available. And when there is, you better have as many FAAB dollars saved as possible. So leaking FAAB money every week, nibbling on receivers is bad process. So we just have a hard cap. We're not going to go any higher than 5% of our FAAB budget. I would go 5% on Rashee Rice. I would go 5% on Tank Dell, though he's not really going to be attainable for that amount of money. Let someone else have him, and then go acquire Nico Collins. That would be my advice. That's my real life advice. Let someone else overbid on Tank Dell. You go get Nico Collins. Stash John Mechie. This is an offense you want exposure to. Unless it's Dalton Schultz. I still can't. Dalton Schultz just isn't good, so it's tough. And neither is Josh Palmer. But Josh Palmer is the number two receiver. The number 2 is really Gerald Everett. Like, let's not bury the lead. This Mike Williams injury helps Gerald Everett and Keenan Allen the most. And then secondarily, Josh Palmer. He's going to be on the field even more. And then, yes, Quentin Johnston. But I need to see more from Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston in a number 3 receiver role with Eckler coming back. And then, of course, you have Gerald Everett, a quality receiver. He's still like the number 5 option. Right? Oh, they're going to use him in a downfield role. Wow, downfield. Ooh, wow. Good luck with that. Good luck. Quentin Johnston's good at bubble screens and then breaking tackles. He can catch a bubble screen and he can break a tackle. Asking him to catch a ball downfield is asking for a feat of impossibility. So that's good luck with that, everybody. Good luck. I could tell like the coaches were like, yeah, we got to use Quentin Johnston downfield now more in the Mike Williams role. Because they know what's going to happen. They know how it's going to turn out. So yeah, I'm not running out to stash Quentin Johnston. I think that was probably obvious. But yes, Josh Palmer, certainly. Josh Palmer, yeah. And the presence of Quentin Johnston makes Josh Palmer even easier to attain. So that's why I like it. That's why overbid on a Tank Dell when Josh Palmer could easily outproduce him. Tyler Boyd, too. Tyler Boyd is a quality receiver. And last time I checked, T. Higgins has only been dropping passes and getting injured. That's his specialty. Fantasy production, like that 1 week of T. Higgins. He has that 1 week of fantasy production, then every other week it's just dropping passes and getting injured. That's his specialty. So that's another player where we need to have a serious conversation for Dynasty. What do we do with T. Higgins? because he is a fake alpha that we've talked about for many years, but we've still had him ranked with other receivers that produce at his level in a fantasy points per game in his age group. But now it's getting to the point where it's like he's just super, super fake and really not someone you want in Dynasty and run and hide. And it should be a surprise to nobody if Tyler Boyd continues to produce these next few weeks. See, this is why. This is why you don't spend up on wide receiver, because a Tyler Boyd giving you 10 targets next week is available. Tutu Atwell is the number one receiver for the Rams. And I say that because he outsnapped the who shall not be named, who dudded out this year. Now, he didn't dud out. He salvaged his week, right? I think that Puka salvaged his week. Congratulations with that garbage time catch at the end, salvaging the week. But it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. Tutu Atwell was the snap leader a week ago, and he was the fantasy points leader in that passing game this past week. He's also going to outproduce Puka Nacua when Cooper Kupp returns. This is something that I reported to you last week, and you continue to stash Tutu Atwell. Again, Tutu Atwell is not someone that is being sought after, right? It's the Rams offense. The Rams offense apparently are who we thought they were. Finally. Like, this is why I've never been, got to get Atwell. Got to get Puka Nacua. Because this is the offense I thought we were getting. We'll see. Now we're really going to see this week. This week is going to be very interesting. Oh, I'm interested. Oh, I'm going to be glued to this Rams-Colts. Right? Rams-Colts going to be very interesting. Now, it's also probably going to be a productive game for everyone on the outside. For Van Jefferson, for Puka Nacua, whoever's outside. I don't know. Depends. We'll see. Sean McVay likes to mix it up, who he plays in the slot. You can't really play Tutu Atwell in the slot full time because there are certain plays where you need someone who can block in the slot. So they'll motion a Van Jefferson into the slot, and they'll motion an Atwell out of the slot. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think we're probably going to get a productive game from Stafford and more production from Puka and Atwell this coming week. So this will be fun. It'll be fun. But if not, though, right, we expect it because this is a weak secondary, especially with weak outside corners in Indianapolis. If we don't get it, though, right, that's the thing. It is a road game for the Rams. So if we don't get it, if the Rams offense flames out at Indianapolis, I'm going to be very happy because my assumptions will be vindicated. My assumptions from 2 weeks ago. So this is what I'm doing. Instead of just cheering for football, instead of just rooting for athletic stud performances, instead of getting excited about what these athletes can deliver on Sunday, instead what I'm doing, think about how sick it is what I'm doing. Think about how sick it is, sick and twisted this is, where I'm going to be watching the Rams-Colts game of all games in week 4, hoping that the Rams don't produce so that my assumptions about the Rams offense from 3 weeks ago can be vindicated. That is disgusting. I should be ashamed of myself. That is gross. But it's what I do. Jayden Reed. We talked about Jayden Reed. He's going to get dropped. Everyone's like, Romeo Doubs is the guy. Then it's going to be Watson. It's going to be Watson and Doubs. Not so fast. Jayden Reed will outproduce Romeo Doubs this year. Keep Jayden Reed rostered. Pick him up if he becomes available. Pick up DJ Chark. See, this is, again, you get an explosive downfield playmaker who can deliver a spike week. You have Jonathan Mingo concussed. You have Chark already commanding a big target share in week 3. What do you think is going to happen in week 4? Right now we have, it's going to be the Vikings in week 4, right? The Vikings at home. If you're going to stream anyone this week, it's going to be DJ Chark. But everyone's been so conditioned to not believe that DJ Chark can string together more than one quality game that I know fantasy gamers are not going to pick him up. But again, why am I not running out and spending up for Tank Dell? Because Chark at home against the Vikings this week with Mingo concussed. That's why. Don't spend up on wide receiver, period, ever, 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 ever. I mean, if you disagree with this, let me know in the chat. I'm here. Let me know. Let me know, chat. Why, give me the case, right? Lay it out to me, your thesis for why someone needs to spend 25% of their budget this week on Tank Dell with DJ Chark available for 2% of whatever budget you have. Tell me. I'm interested to know. Right? It's called opportunity cost. The concept, the overarching concept, what I'm saying is opportunity cost. And I'm seeing a lot of crickets in the chat right now. There's a lot of crickets, right? Yeah, surprised. Surprised that there's nothing in there. Nothing in the chat to defend the heavy receiver bidding that I always see recommended wrongly across this industry. That's what I thought. Trust the process. Trust in the process, people. There's more. But there's more. There's more wide receivers. Josh Downs, right? Josh Downs going against the Rams at home. Josh Downs soaking up a lot of targets. He's not Michael Pittman, but he's the clear number 2. It's not Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce, not that good. Alec Pierce, a situational field stretcher, which is what I said he was all along, which is what he always has been all along. Josh Downs is the type of receiver that can command targets. He's like a lighter, lesser version of Devontae Smith. Talk about high praise, right? That's Josh Downs. So there's another guy that can flat out play. He's highly available on the waiver wire. He's got a nice little matchup coming up. Could be a sneaky shootout. I hope it's not for my priors from a couple weeks ago, as you know. But it's possible. It's possible. So, let's just check in. Let's go back and remind ourselves. So, last week against Baltimore, Josh Downs, 12 targets. Now, 57 yards because he's not that athletic. He's not that big. So, of course, his yards per target is going to be low. But technically, he out-targeted Michael Pittman and almost doubled the target share of Alec Pierce. It's time to get excited about Josh Downs. He's moving up in Dynasty also. Okay. Other guys you can stash, Jameson Williams is available. I don't like Jameson Williams, but if he's available on that offense, given what we've seen from Khalif Raymond already and Josh Reynolds, you better stash Jameson Williams. Marvin Mims, he gave you the yardage again this week in the massive blowout, garbage time horror show. But he is still behind Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. The Broncos offense is not anything you want to be investing in. So it's hard for me to get behind Marvin Mims as anything more than a stash right now. Same thing with Michael Wilson. I love Michael Wilson as a stash, but it's going to be a few more weeks until he's unlocked. Calvin Austin delivered the touchdown, has the speed, big playability. But, this was the week, right? If you're going to stream a wide receiver with speed like Calvin Austin, it would be against the Raiders. So now that week has expired. Now I'm not as excited. Still stashing Calvin Austin in deep leagues. At tight end, it's Luke Musgrave. He has not had the big breakout week yet. That is coming. He's getting the targets, and he is super athletic. The breakout is coming. Luke Musgrave also great at the Senior Bowl. The two most athletic tight ends that were also productive and were just good at football. Sam Laporta, Luke Musgrave. They're the ones you wanted this year. And Luke Musgrave is happening. I just can't believe that Jordan Love, especially with his rushing production this past week, is, the come from behind win. He is Kenny Pickett. What I wanted Kenny Pickett to be this year. Everything I dreamed for Kenny Pickett this year is what Jordan Love is. And Kenny Pickett has been what I expected I would be getting from Jordan Love. It has been a body-snatching, trading places situation where Jordan Love is out-rushing Kenny Pickett. Jordan Love is scoring better in the leadership metrics. Jordan Love is engineering the comebacks. And Kenny Pickett is just either getting blown out or nursing leads and hoping to run out the clock. See, that's what I thought Jordan Love would be. I can't believe we have a body swap situation with Jordan Love and Kenneth Pickett Sr., but here we are. At quarterback, this is obvious, but let's just confirm this. C.J. Stroud should be picked up in single quarterback leagues. I would rather have C.J. Stroud over most quarterbacks, including Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, and many others, right? Most others. Kenny Pickett, of course. I mean, C.J. Stroud, I'd rather have C.J. Stroud than Jared Goff. There's so many, than Jordan Love. I would rather have C.J. Stroud than most quarterbacks. I mean, you basically, C.J. Stroud is the guy you want unless you have an elite quarterback. That's where we are with C.J. Stroud because he's been so prolific, and we're going to see more rushing, more tactical scrambling from him. I'm very excited about C.J. Stroud. And I'm very excited that he's doing what he's doing, and Bryce Young has been a total zero. That excites me, right? Because I'm a sick person. I'm a sick, diseased man who is rooting for my takes, not for great football or for feats of athletic brilliance. I'm just hoping my takes come true. It's so pathetic and sad. And it's also pathetic and sad that now we're rooting for Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, you're bidding a couple weeks, right? He's week to week. Derek Carr, week to week. So Jameis Winston, he's going to give you a couple weeks at least. He's a downfield thrower. He's as a possession receiver, the most possession receiver of all time, Michael Thomas. He's got a superstar in Chris Olave. He's got a downfield playmaker in Rashee Shaheed. He's got a quality receiving tight end in Juwan Johnson. He's got Alvin Kamara coming back. Just for a few weeks, it's worth 25% of your superflex budget. And then Carr's shoulder could be a problem all year. So I want Jameis Winston. Did I say Jameis Winston? That's combining Jameson Williams and Jameis Winston, which isn't that far off, actually. So, yes, I want Jameis Winston in Superflex leagues. He's going to be streamable in single quarterback. This is the world. This is the world. Welcome to Jameis Winston world.